Hello everyone. Today in this session I will be discussing about geography optional. What makes geography optional one of the most favorable and popular subject in UPSC mains examination. As per the UPSC annual report, if we discuss some facts here, geography is very popular and has a good success rate. As per UPSC annual report, (2017) onwards, if we talk about, more than 3,000 students have appeared in UPSC mains with geography as an optional, and around more than 230 students have qualified this exam with geography as an optional. It means the success rate of this subject is around 6 to 7%. And since 2019 onwards till now, this subject has remained consistent in giving the selections. It means its success rate is fluctuating between 5 to 7%, and which makes it among the top 3 optionals. Apart from this popularity and the good success rate, this geography optional has a good overlap in the general studies papers also. Like general studies paper 1, there is a complete overlap of world and Indian geography. We have some components there covered, like Indian society part, tribals, problem of tribals, initiatives taken by the government of India regarding the tribal development, regional development, island development, population, overpopulation, optimum population, underpopulation, globalization. All these somehow are overlapped in the geography optional also. There is an overlap of also geopolitical issues, like international boundaries, India-Pakistan, India-China, India-Bangladesh, India-Sri Lanka, India-Nepal, river dispute, it can be with respect to the river Brahmaputra, India and China, or it can be like river Kali between Nepal and India, or it can be internal water disputes within the India. Like Kaveri is one, Krishna is there, Yamuna Satluj link is there. In general studies paper 3, we have environmental geography, which we generally refer as environment, ecology, biodiversity, which is a very important part with respect to our prelims also. Then disaster management, so I take some of the example like urban flood, causes of urban flood, consequences of urban flood. Similarly, if we take another example like earthquakes, if we take about landslides, if we talk about heat waves, cold waves, and there is a good coverage of economics also. Specifically, if you talk about infrastructure, energy, resources, though both are the part of resource only, there is a good overlap of all these subjects in our optional also. With respect to prelims, only from the geography there will be 10 to 15 questions, conceptual and journal, which will come from geography, and there will be around 8 to 9 questions from the environmental part also. Now this doesn't mean that there is no overlap of other optionals also. Other optionals do also have overlap, but I am just focusing here about the geography, how much overlap of geography is there with the GS. Geography optional is scientific, logical, as well as conceptual. It means analytical, conceptual, and diagram based presentation. Now, what makes geography as a scientific subject? Geography as a subject is deeply rooted in natural science. Which is somehow having linked from physics, chemistry, biology, etc. This makes this subject predictive and empirically grounded, especially in physical geography. I'll give you some examples to explain it. If we talk about climatology, or if we talk about here geomorphology, or let's say oceanography. These are the three main components of the physical geography. Obviously, yes, environmental and biogeography is itself a part of it. Now, when we talk about climatology, the concepts like heat budget, insolation, pressure belts, winds, Coriolis force, better to say it, Coriolis effect, monsoon, concepts like El Nino, etc. These all are based on physics. I hope I'm clear about the scientific part. Similarly, if we talk about, there can be a question on this, which was even asked by the UPSC, like explain the role of jet streams in western disturbances. Questions like this required scientific explanation. There can be many more questions like this. If we talk about monsoon, like discuss how Indian monsoon is gamble with Indian agriculture, mechanism of Indian monsoon, or if we talk about heat budget, these all require scientific explanations to understand. In geomorphology, concepts like plate tectonics theory require seismology and concepts of geology, which again itself are the scientific explanations. Even if we talk about diastrophism, even if we talk about theories to understand the origin of Earth as well as universe. Similarly, oceanography like ocean currents, thermocline, thermohaline circulations require better understanding of concepts like salinity, temperature, and density. I hope it is now clear how geography is scientific. Let's understand another part, how geography is conceptual. Now, geography is not only rote learning. It involves building of concepts, and their application. For example, demographic transition theory. It requires conceptual clarity, how socio-economic conditions affect the birth and death rate over the period of time. Like another example, if I talk about conceptual clarity, like mechanism of Indian monsoon. There is an interplay of jet streams like Tibetan Plateau, Himalayas, El Nino, ITCZ concept. All these concepts are interlinked and which directly indirectly affect the Indian monsoon. It cannot be understood just by the rote learning, rather they require a conceptual understanding. Similarly, if you talk about with respect to agriculture, there is a theory of agriculture location in geography optional given by the von Thunen. It means the agricultural land use pattern on the basis of distance, transportation and perishability of the items. So all these require conceptual clarity rather than the rote learning. Especially if you talk about industrial location theory of Alfred Wegener, depending upon three main factors: transportation, raw material, and agglomeration. How these three important factors affect the location of an industry. This is all about conceptual and its further application. Another part is what makes geography as a logic-based subject. It is cause-effect relation. For example, if I say, why Eastern Ghats are more dissected than Western Ghats. Similarly, if I talk about another example here, urban flood is more frequent in Indian cities. Why? It requires logical integration. Land use change, which we call as urban sprawl. Urbanization, concretization, haphazard developments. Another can be loss of wetlands, climate change, talk about rainfall pattern is changing, and poor urban planning. That is impervious infrastructure. These are some of the examples which makes geography logical. There is many more, but there are some limitations which we can discuss here. I can take another example. Similarly, impact of climate change on agriculture. Cropping pattern has affected. So there are some examples which help us in understanding this geography as a subject is scientific, logical, conceptual, as well as it has overlap with the GS, and it has the good popularity and the success rate which we have discussed with some facts. But again, that doesn't mean this subject should be chosen as an optional because of these facts. The important thing is your interest. The first thing what matters here is your interest. Now, availability of resources. There is no dearth of the availability of resources for geography as an option. Books are available there. For basics, NCERT are there to build up your basics. Online resources are there. Test series are there. Geography optional has a good scoring potential. One can easily score between 270 to 300 marks with proper map-based answers, well structure. One can outshine in the exam with this subject. Geography optional is very dynamic in nature and has relevance in the current affairs. One can easily integrate the static, dynamic along with its current affair relevance, and it will help them to score well. For example, topics like climate change, disaster management, urban planning, agriculture, infrastructure, resources, geopolitics, etc. are on daily basis in use. Thus, it is easy to integrate current affair with in answers. Because of the integration of this current affair in the answers, it gives it a dynamic lookout. Because of integration of this dynamic and current affair part together, it gives it a dynamic edge, which makes the subject in scoring well and addressing the contemporary issues also. Now, these are some of the factors because of which if anyone is interested in choosing the geography as an option. Now, how and what we're going to provide you here in Unacademy? There will be daily based answer writing on the topics or PYQs. In the end, we'll provide you some test series also. All the answers will be evaluated regularly and there will be a discussion of each and every question in the class. Thank you.